Hi everyone, this is Barb Pask, back to paint for you again tonight. I went out and cut some rows of Sharon blooms. My bush is all in bloom, almost waited too late. And I set it up in a ball jar. That little green ball jar is probably my favorite object to paint. Painted it over and over and over. I love antiques. Okay, and tonight I'm painting small, painting on a 5x7 panel. I got it, which works out kind of nice. I got it taped to that, so hopefully it won't come loose and fall down. And we'll start off like always and get a little color on there. Mixed up an orange color again. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing, and even if you just happen upon me and you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you did. Don't know what my ultimate goal is here, mostly just to have fun and maybe share some tips and things with people that don't maybe never paint it or don't paint that often. I mean, I think we all can learn from each other. That's how we learn. This isn't a real expensive panel. I think it's one of those Frederick's canvas on hard panel. And I'm using my view catcher to sketch in my composition. I've got a website if you've never checked it out, barbarapask.com, B-A-R-B-A-R-A-P-A-S-K. You can find more of my work there if you're interested. All right, this is one we be framing, so I'm either going to run things off. I don't want to stop anything like right at the edge, and then you end up with a pinch point when you frame it. So I would almost rather run it off. Kind of looking at the negative shape, the outside shape of the whole arrangement. And now that I'm starting, I'm going to pull it a little to the right. I'd just soon the jar not be dead center. But that's what I wanted to do, because that's what we do. I've always say that, our orderly mind, we line things up. Got a shadow running that way. And then I laid a couple of petals just down here on the table. So, you know, I don't feel like I need a lot of information to get started. Going to switch back to my bigger brush. I'd rather stay with that for as long as I can. And I did pre-mix colors. I'm going to start off and actually, I'm going to start off with the green first, the darkest greens that I see. Okay, again, I gotta. And if you've never painted glass, it's really about, you know, painting what you see. If you're doing clear glass, a lot of times it's what's behind it and what's reflecting on it. You don't want to just like outline it. That isn't how you do it. And I've got some green in the jar, so that's what I'm painting. Some of the leaves are down in the jar. And this is a transparent green out of Indian yellow and ultramarine. I like it a lot. And for me, I'd rather start off a little dark. You can always lighten things, and in the beginning stages, you want to keep white out of your paints. I try to work dark to light. And the purple I mixed up is ultramarine and alizarin crimson. There's other ways to make purple, but that's really your only really clean, true purple, because alizarin crimson has blue in it. It's a cool red with the ultramarine. That's your best purple, in my opinion. And we've got some stems down here in the water. Fall seems to be coming already. It's cooled off, and just kind of sounds like fall, the bugs, and I love fall. I hope it's a nice long fall. I don't like the cold though. Not really looking forward to winter coming back. This green goes right up to the water line right there. And there's this leaf here is catching some of that light that I got on it, so we'll lighten it up a little bit. And that one even a little bit maybe. Again, I'm going to darken, now that I've done that, I'm going to darken that back up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush and let's look at the flowers. I think what we'll do for now is just kind of mass in the general shape of them. Kind of with a mid-tone, not my lightest light and not my darkest dark. I try not to overthink flowers and just to look at the whole shape of everything. Because I'm not a realist. I don't paint that way, and I like paintings to look like paintings. I respect the people that can do that kind of work, but the paintings that look photographic, you could buy a photograph, Got one bloom up in here, a bud, and it's a kind of a rosier color, so we'll go ahead and make it look that way. And like I said, I've got a couple petals down here on the table. Assuming you're an artist, if you're watching me, maybe not, and I appreciate that. If you are, go ahead and leave a link to your website if you have one, and I'll check you out too. All right, let's put in the darker colors that we see in the blooms. Not a lot, there's really just a couple spots there. Some shadow on that leaf there. I'm looking at these lights, and some of them, they're the same value, but they're more of a more pink. If you watch my last post, and I did the teddy bear, I did comment on it that it was probably driving you crazy, and I didn't see it till I shut the camera off, that bright highlight that I had in his right eye on your left. It's like, oh my gosh. It was the first thing I did was knock that down. You just don't, you know, when you're painting it, sometimes you just don't see it, you know. I find that when I'm outside painting a scene, the longer I'm out there, the more I see. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, you're out there a while and it's like, oh, I didn't see that. And one of these times, we'll see, I may set up a camera when I am painting outside and share that with you. I got permission this summer to paint at a beautiful farmhouse. It's maybe 10 minutes from me, and I haven't been up there yet. Big white barn with a cupola on top and a white farmhouse. Beautiful, beautiful house. No excuse. All right, that half is lighter. Just some little tips over here catching light, sticking out and up in there. A little bit on that bud. Back in there. I know I darkened it up again. And I cut one hydrangea, which is up in here. That's the one I ran off the top. Let's see. It's mostly white. A little bit of a green color. We'll see what that looks like stuck up in there. Maybe, maybe not. You know, we might just stick another purple one up in there even. We'll see what that looks like. I'm back looking at my greens again. All right, I'm going to wash my brush and let's look at that jar. Get some of the beautiful blue on there. I mixed up my blue and I did use some phthalo, so we'll see how that goes. Try to look real close. I think we'll start from the top and work our way down, so we try to get the proportions right. That leaves on the outside. And this ring sticks out further. A little darker right there. Again, I'm just trying to paint what I see. I can see already, okay, the water line goes to about there. So the jar is going to go more down into there. We got to try to get the proportions right. You know, a lot of times when you can't see the back of an ellipse, it doesn't hurt to just pretend you can, you know, to get things correct. And I really can't see it because of the flowers. Okay, again, my lightest blue is down here in the water line. There's a little yellow in here. And this color in here looks to be about the same value as that up there. And it takes me down to the water line. And actually on that left side, it's a little lighter, and I'm going to put a little more yellow in that. Let's see what that looks like. And see some little bits poking through. It's a little too green. We're going to put a little bit of that color in it. And like I said, on this edge of the jar, the leaves are right at the water line. All right, so this area all down in here is pretty light. So let's take that same blue, but we're going to lighten it up quite a bit. And the bottom of the jar. I see a darker ring down there. And then it switches off to and goes back dark again. Now at the water line, I see a dark line there, just on that side. On this side, it's lighter. I don't know why, I don't care. Quite obviously, I don't have this proportions right, but we'll get it. I think this kind of threw me because well, let me look again. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Just felt like it was too prominent, so. Trying to get a lighter value on that water line. That's what I see. Obviously, I won't leave that clear over there, but you can see a leaf sticking out up there. Yeah, just bring that down for now. We can always change it. I get too picky. It's actually white in the middle of these purple flowers. I didn't make it pure white. I put some of the purple in there. Still don't know how I feel about that up there. I don't know. Let's change that to purple. I feel like everything's a little contained. Let's get some purple over here too. You don't have to explain everything. And I'm big on reflected colors, even if you don't see it. Like I'm going to bring some of the purple down into the jar. And actually I do see it on that lip right there. And we're going to put a little down here. Just because it's interesting and I like it. Pull him down. Do you want to define the edge of that one flower a little better? I'm going to mix up some a gray. Try to change the shape of that a little bit because it actually does come from the back of the jar around. All right, let's... Okay, I'm looking at the shape of this jar. Kind of comes out about to there. All right, I'll mix up a gray of my 3 primaries. All right, let's lay that shadow in that I see. Piece of something in there. We'll get some paint on here and then we'll probably push it around with our brush. I'll clean my brush, it's kind of dirty. All right, I need to look carefully at the shape of this jar while I'm doing this. And you'll see a lot of this orange color that I toned with will still show in the end. and I wanted to. This is way too dark. These are water mixable oils. If you haven't joined me before, they're oils. Paint like oils, dry like oils, but water cleanup. I can see something I did already, which you probably noticed. Kind of did away with that flower that I had at the top that was running off, so we'll think about that. Let's just get the canvas covered and we'll take a look at it. Okay. Put a little more yellow into that gray mixture, and I lightened it up a little bit on this side. Oh. And I'm going to do a little bit of that over here too, because the light's kind of coming around behind the jar. Making little adjustments where I think I need them. I stayed with this big brush the whole time. I'm setting pretty much dead on to the jar. It might have been better if I wasn't, then you would see the back of this water line. Looking for highlights. You know, now that I've done this, I don't like it so much. Let me think about that. Gonna move it over there a little bit. How are we doing on time? Not too bad. 43 minutes. All right. That flower is my focal point. So I'm hitting the lighter places I see in it with a little palette knife. Hit them a little bit too, make them feel a little more dimensional. Just looking around for places that are catching light. I feel as though the jar's shape is a little off. I feel as though it needs to be out a little more. Let me look at that. I know I wiped out my highlight. We'll put it back. Let's go back in with the background color, and then let me consider this here. Okay, so we need to. All right, go back to the top. It goes in right there, and it goes out around that ring. And there's a little space there, and then it comes out. Same thing on this side. Let's see. In there, out around there, and it goes in for just a minute and back out. How's that feel? Does that feel better? darkening that again where I had it. A little darker over here too. Everything's not perfectly hard edged, and I don't want it to be. Still going to push this in a little bit. And bring that shadow back in again. Okay, now let's mix up something really dark and see if we need to put any accent. We'll ground this a little bit. Okay. And actually on this little lip, looks a little darker to me. Probably the other side. Series of corrections, right? Normally I flip them upside down, and it's really helpful when I'm painting something that both sides need to match. But I've got it taped to the board, so we may not be doing that. I have to look at that after I get off air. All right, so what do we think? Maybe, not bad, I think. Got some purple here and purple here. It's not really a flower petal, but I like that, you know. I don't like explaining everything. Got a little more purple here. All right. Kind of sweet. I mean, we'll see if I think it needs anything else. We'll go ahead and sign it. I have an easy name. And you want to sign up high enough you don't cut it off in the frame. That's it. All right. I'll back up and show it to you. Show you the setup again. All right, you ready for the ride? See, if you look, you can see some of the tone coming through the canvas. It's painterly. I try to paint what I saw with the jar and not, like I say, it doesn't work just to outline the edge and create glass that way. All right, and there's a little ball jar. Like I said, it might have done better if I'd have stood and painted, then I'd have been able to see part of the ellipse in the jar and the back of the water line, which is what you were seeing. But that is not the view I had. I was pretty much dead on to it, so that changes things. All right, folks, I appreciate you joining me. Hope I'm not being a pest. I'm just having fun with this and hoping somebody out there is enjoying it. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.